think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you? That I don't think that he's good.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sandra P's Gen Extra. Good afternoon. Happy Monday. It is great to see everyone. Thank you for joining me for this live. And I'm so glad to be here. Took the weekend off, not off, but I have not seen you on YouTube and haven't really been in the YouTube streets. But I hope everyone that is here is having a great Monday, a happy Monday after what was hopefully a wonderful weekend. And I see American Born in here. Thank you so much, American Born. Saying good afternoon to myself, Sandra P's Gen Extra. Also, CC, one of the moderators, is here. Thank you so much, CC. Welcoming everyone. Also myself. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. It helps push the channel up in the YouTube algorithm so that more people can enjoy the amazing content. I appreciate that. CC, as always, speaks to everyone when she comes in. Thank you so much for that, CC. I appreciate your work as a moderator and also someone who regularly contributes and just helps keep me in the loop. And I appreciate your engagement with the channel. I really mean that. And AB is saying hello to CC. Linda Gamble has come in. This is another one of the moderators. Welcome in, Linda Gamble. Happy Monday to myself, to everyone that is here. She is speaking to. Thank you so much. And American Born has the theme song, which is American Born. Don't stay away from me. American Born. Come in and take your seat. And she has, as always, which I appreciate, Mama Bees, another one of the sister moderators, are here saying hello to myself, to everyone that is already down in the chat. And those of you that are up in the bushes watching, as always, I appreciate the people that are in the bushes. You're doing 1, 2, 3, however many things as you multitask and you join us. I want to thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. So welcome in. Thank you for joining me. And we'll go ahead and get started with this episode. One of my favorite things that we have is when the ladies go on either an international or on a domestic trip. And these ladies are going to Scotland. Now, their connection to Scotland, of course, if you are a Bravo person like myself, then you know that some of the ladies have already been on the show Traitors. We can see that on Peacock, on Bravo. 2 of the ladies hosting this trip, Frick and Frat, Portia and Phaedra, have been on the Traitors show. And so that's where they got Scotland from. And American Born says, woohoo, I love my song. I love that you love it. I can't remember the original. We know it's classic rock, but I'm going to give it to the beautiful Lenny Kravitz, okay? Because he remade it, and that's what brought it to my attention. But it's much, much longer than that, and I reconfigured it for American Born. And Linda, thank you so much. She's saying to please like, comment, subscribe, and hype the video. That's for Team Replay. That is something that YouTube gives you the option of doing. There's only 3 because right now they're a little conservative with what they're giving. But as a smaller growing channel, I will ask you, before you get to just throwing out hypes, let me hold one. Thank you so much, everybody. Welcome in everyone that is coming in, everyone speaking to each other. Toot Latrice, this is one of my friends on YouTube streets. I don't know if anyone knows, I've met Toot Latrice in person. Yes, so not just on the YouTube streets. Toot has come off of YouTube and I did as well. And we met in person and we had a great time. And I hope that that is not the last time. Great to see you, Toot Latrice. Welcome in. I appreciate when you get the chance to join me live because you're a busy, busy lady. And as always, I appreciate you, Toot Latrice. Thank you for joining. And Linda speaking, calling her my sis because they are sis moderators. Yes, Traitors is a show, Linda Gamble. That is the tie-in to what these ladies are doing, Traitors. So to bringing them to Scotland. Because when I heard Scotland, I was like, Scotland? But then I knew that they were going to try to do a Traitors tie-in. So that's pretty good that they did that. I like the fact that they have, of course, a cash trip that's going to cost Bravo some money. Because Bravo, we're tired of going to Savannah. And I love it. They had a great trip. But we want to go more than just to Nashville and Dallas. We want you to take us out the country, too, like you do these other ladies. So now they have finally done that. And I'm very appreciative. Not too much happened in the episode, but enough that I can give them kind of a better grade because at least they were out of the country. So we start at, instead of the little vignettes, we start at Atlanta Hartsfield International. That, of course, is the airport where the ladies fly out of. That's their local. Usually we'll see the husbands dropping them off. Not this time. Everybody made their own way. Pinky left her stuff on the curb, and the Uber driver's like, okay. And Pinky said, I'm used to going with Derek. He picks up the luggage because she's on the phone. She had to handle her own luggage. Everybody is dressed really cute, ready for travel. Shamea and also Cynthia had those big fur hats because when they get to Scotland, it's going to be kind of cold, but they got a pretty long flight in the meantime. And as usual, everyone, if you've been here, if you're new, I'll just fill you in. I'll go through the scenes. I also go back and engage with comments. And that's the way we do the reviews, recap, opinion over here. If something else happens out on social media, if I have time or if it's relevant, I'll go ahead and add that. But that is what we do. So they're at the airport. We find out that Frack is having a birthday. Portia had a birthday the other day too, but this trip took place during Phaedra's birthday. They have a pretty fun flight, it looks like. We see them turning up a little bit for Phaedra's birthday, and Frack's kind of dancing down the aisles. They're having a great time. So they finally get there, and as they pull up in 3 different black cars, that was kind of traders adjacent. They pull up 3 to a car, and they're looking kind of like they're going on one of their missions. And there is one of the Scotsmen. He is a very nice looking young black man, and he is one of the people that they point to when they say, are there any black people in Scotland? Yes. So he's there. He's really cute. And Kelly's like, oh, he looks a little bit like Idris Elba. And then Kay gets asked in her confessional, do you think that he looks like Idris? He's a very nice looking African-American man, but he don't look like Idris. Production's kind of laughing. They said, but he's Scottish. And Kay, even though she's smart, she's one of the ignorant smart people. Well, we're all the same. He's black. We're not all the same, Kay. I don't know if that man was born in Scotland, but I think he said that he is Scotland. I mean, we hear the accent and everything. African American, as we know, are Africans in America, generally born here. Some people say foundational, but that's a whole other thing if you want to get into it. But Africans from the continent are Africans from whatever country they happen to be in at that time. But Kay, of course, Kay always got something slick to say in the confessional. I'm okay with that. Just bring it to scenes, Kay. Bring it to scenes. And have anybody heard Idris ever mention Kay Michelle at all? I know that she did have a relationship maybe a decade or so ago. It coincided when she had that show, because toward the end, she was claiming that she's going to move to the UK for him. And I think she did, but I think that fizzled out when he had a whole baby with somebody else. So we don't know if Idris knew how serious the relationship was or if Kay just had that in her mind. But she said the guy's cute, but he don't really look like him. He introduces himself to the lady. He's in a kilt. Of course, the ladies have to be a little bit inappropriate. The girl Shamea gets started. I know what's up under that. Shamea, what's up under it? She's in a confessional. She's also saying she used to wonder whether or not there were any black people in Scotland, but she's been following him. He's a social media sensation. I found him on TikTok. So I actually like him. He was a nice looking man. He was very personable, inviting everybody in. I love that a lot. AB says, yes, Bravo needs to make it fair. They all deserve an out of the country trip. Yeah, I agree with that. Beverly Hills ladies don't give us anything. And they ended up with a very nice Italian trip. So I'm glad to see them in Scotland. AB says he sure does. Let me see what I missed from CC. Did I miss anything? And CC, yes, I read CC's welcome, but let me see. As soon as I click on them, y'all, whether I read them or not, they gray out, which is good, but kind of bad. He kind of favors Sterling K. Brown. Thank you for saying that, CC. That is who came to Phaedra's mind. Phaedra said he's like a chocolate-covered Sterling K. Brown. So that'll make him double-dipped, because we know our beautiful Sterling is already Hershey covered. So according to Phaedra, he's been double-dipped. He did kind of, I see what both of them were saying as far as the looks. And AB is agreeing. He sure does. Yes, they favor. Idris has never claimed her. Cece confirmed. I didn't think I had either. Now, he's not that big on his personal life, but I tell you what, I've seen that beautiful wife. Trust 612, thank you so much. Hello. Dropped in for a minute on break. Thank you so much. If you'll listen to the rest from the bushes, I appreciate that. That's my actual sister and one of the sister moderators. So thank you, Trush. I appreciate it. Shamea always has to make it dirty. AB, it wouldn't be Shamea if she didn't make it dirty. So they come out to some bagpipe music, and Shamea gets out of the car, shake, rattling, roll into that. Started out cute. We get to the confessional, y'all, and she's still doing her Shamea. Shamea, Shamea, Shamea. I don't know. I've had to work with a Scottish professor in Germany who was part of Queen Elizabeth's Black Watch Guard, and he wore a kilt every day. He was real randy. Cece, I think so. The air's hitting them. Y'all know they said that they don't wear any undergarments under those kilts. That's what they say. The Irish are the same thing. Hi at Church 612. Hey at Church 612. One time we stayed at a hotel. There was a whole contingent of firemen, and they were there for Irish something parade. It was in Hilton Head. And I will confirm to the randiness. Okay, they were drinking, they were getting into a little bit of everything. I think a fight even broke out, and everyone speaking to each other, waving back. So thank you all for doing that. But they were excited. I love the fact that the ladies were excited. They pulled up. The grounds were beautiful. The young man introduced himself. He wants to show them around the castle. So it's not just a house. It is a castle, an estate. And they deserve no less. Now, Atlanta, thank you for showing that we can take you somewhere. Now, of course, we know they've been to Africa, they've been to Tokyo, they've been to different places, but I like seeing them in Scotland. So the bagpipes are playing, Shamea gets out dancing, and Torgy, I think his name was, Torgy with the T. I'm just glad you understand me. Can't do it. I can't do a Scottish accent. And they're saying, oh, yeah, we just want to hear you talk. And he said, I can talk all night. Okay, Torgy. So he was flirting a little bit. They were flirting back. So I thought that was really cute. And Phaedra has to be, she wants to bring the professionalism back. He is super fine, but under all that, he's also a teacher. And then we get a confessional from her. And that's when she mentioned, I think, that he looks like the Sterling K. Brown dipped in chocolate. So I liked, as he was showing Phaedra and Portia as the two hosts, the rooms, they thought that everything was beautiful. Everything was beautiful. And Portia's always looking for the best room, but she let him know this is her birthday, so we're going to try to get her the best room. And he said, well, I start with the worst rooms. And they were like, oh, let me see what we're looking at. Y'all, everything we already knew. If this was the worst room, and all of them had bathrooms except for Kelly's, which I think was in a hallway, but still close to her room. Everything was gorgeous. So the ladies they said, well, we're going to let y'all sit down. They're going to snack or sit at a table while Phaedra and Portia get the rooms together and tour. Thank y'all for not starting at a dead stop and then running to the rooms and screaming like fools, because that gets a little bit embarrassing when they start doing that. So I actually liked them doing this. So Phaedra sit the ladies down for a snack. Portia's talking something about a white ghost that comes out at night. I don't know. The castle in Traders looks a little bit haunted to me, but I think production does a lot of stuff to try to have the people a little bit spooked out. Then I've heard rumors that they sleep in a hotel. So I don't know the details about that. So the ladies are sitting around in kind of like a dining type room, but there's champagne, there's hors d'oeuvres, and they're just hanging with each other, talking about the ride in the car on the way over. This is where the tension starts between Shamea and Angela. Y'all know I've always loved Angela Oakley. I kind of took her under my wing a little bit, even though she don't really need it. First season, I didn't like her being excluded. I didn't like Shamea setting up an alliance, but Angela's kind of shifting the tide a little bit. Angela, you're starting to look like you're picking on Shamea a little bit now. You're looking like you're hating a little bit on Shamea. Shamea brings enough stuff on herself without somebody start picking at the lady. So this is a little bit too much. So they all start talking about different things that's going on in Atlanta. They joke about the movie. Pinky announces that finally they got everything, all of the financing together for the series or whatever that is. And Angela, everybody is applauding. Angela's making a stink face when she found out that Shamea got the role. And so I didn't understand that. And I don't know that Pinky caught the look, but Angela said something like, she said, I feel like everybody should do a cameo. Now, from what I remember, the only two that showed up that day was Drew and also Shamea. And Drew didn't want to audition because it wasn't done in a way where she would have been expected to audition. So I don't know what you meant by that, Angela. And somebody said, well, at least put Phaedra in it. And then we find out Kelly tells everybody that Phaedra is acting as her attorney. And Pinky gets a confessional and she says, well, casting is closed, watch it on whatever streaming service. And I honestly agree with Pinky because, Angela, why would you be put in this movie? You didn't show up for the thing. She wants it to be a real series and maybe it will get picked up by streaming service. I don't know. But Shamea, they showed the audition. It was a good audition. It was pretty funny. And she got the job. So congratulations, Shamea. We get a confessional from Angela once Kelly says that Phaedra is acting as an attorney for her. Angela's a little bit negative about that. But Phaedra offered her services to Kelly. And Angela says, how did that come about? And it came about because Phaedra saw that Kelly was having an issue with the children's father, her ex-husband, because the divorce is final. And she now is working with Phaedra to try to get the children back on the show. Now, these little girls, I guess there's a little check or something that comes along with that. And let me read some more of the comments, and then we will continue. Kiwan JTV has dropped down in the chat to say hello. Happiest of Monday, my lovelies. Thank you so much, Kiwan JTV. I hope you're having a great Monday, a happy Monday to follow, a great weekend. Thank you. Cece says, I chickened out asking about the undergarments, but he had a knife in his socks. We took pictures. Cece, I've always heard that rumor, but I didn't take my opportunity to find out either. And as I said, this group were Irish. I'm hearing similar things about the Scottish. Scotland's on my bucket list. I just love the views. And then in that movie, The Queen, Balmoral, that is the estate that the royal family owns. The views are stunning. That little queen is a trip. She'd be out there hunting. And everyone's speaking to Kiwan JTV and welcoming her in. Angela is messy and has been messy. Kiwan JTV, I'm trying to give her a little bit of grace because I felt a little sorry for her. I felt like she wasn't really treated like a newbie. She was kind of the odd one out. But what she's doing now, I'm not loving it. But we love her. Yeah, I like Angela, but I don't like her actions. I don't know what's going on with her and Shamea, but she gets caught out there a little bit during this episode. And so that was pretty good. So the guy showing the rooms, and we know how Portia is. Portia's always looking for an opportunity, space and opportunity. He says, there are 4 rooms on this floor, 6 on the next one. She said, 6. He said 6. 6 rooms on the next floor. Portia, calm down. Even Phaedra's looking at her like, okay, down, girl. This lady has a situation with a man, no, 2 men, because I'm gonna count Dennis. Dennis, you still got your hat in the ring. Dennis, Big Mike, which I don't believe at all. And then Sway is the winner, but she don't want to. Oh, she's giving us clues that Sway is the winner, but she doesn't want us to know. But we know a little more after this episode. So, Portia, you know you and Sway go together real bad. We got it. We got it. You don't have to spell it out. We already know. So, Angela was saying, well, I have the least representation here. I thought it was funny. Production happened to be panning in on Shamea. Shamea said, least representation. She said, is this supposed to be a minority or something? Angela clarified. She says, no, what I mean by least representation is nobody speaks for me in this group. Nobody speaks up for me. Now, Angela, you can take care of yourself. All of you are grown women. I got what she was saying, but right now I don't see Angela needing anyone to speak up for her. And Shamea points at Drew, and Drew says, well, I just advocate for her when I feel the need to be necessary. Now, Drew, advocate and speaking up for, same thing. Don't try to make Shamea look stupid. I know what she's talking about. You know what she meant too. So Angela feels like she's the odd one out, that she doesn't have representation within the group. And then Kelly says, well, let me make something clear. The situation last year, I stood up for you. Y'all, they flash back to last season, their first season, when that man came in and gave that shady toast. If your name's Angela, your husband's cheating on you. And then Charles had to tell him, get your effing A up out of here. and they escorted him out. And Kelly, yes, she did do that. She made the man leave. Angela said, then you turn right around and say, I had something to do with it. I don't know. A lot of people thought you had something to do with it, Angela. I'm one of the people, I don't know if she did or not. Half the people thought she did, half thought she didn't. I didn't know what to think. The Kelly says, I thought it was weird. Me too, Kelly. I actually agree with Kelly. I thought it was weird too. And Angela says, saying I have anything to do with it is blasphemous. Angela, I don't know about blasphemous. That sounds kind of biblical. It's not blasphemous because you've been caught in lies, including on this episode, and you can actually rightfully be accused of doing something like that. And you did. So they start to go back and forth. They're getting a little bit loud. Frick and Frack hear it, and they come in, and Phaedra said, am I hearing loud voices? Shamea at the same time is saying, why do you want to investigate me so bad? Two people came up to me and told me that you were asking them questions about me. Angela's kind of cracking up a little bit, trying to make Shamea look stupid. But we're going to see through this episode that Angela is reaching out to people that Shamea knows and trying to make it seem that her and Shamea's got some kind of big feud going on, and Angela's trying to get information about Shamea. So that is actually true. We get a confessional with Shamea. Shamea is now reciting the 23rd Psalms. She's doing the Lord is my shepherd, y'all. And I thought it was funny. Production, she said part of it wrong, and they do like, darn, like you got it wrong. Now, Shamea, if you're going to be in here doing praise dance and all this kind of stuff, you got to know the scripture, know what verse you're talking about. So this whole thing has already started off a little chaotic, but I thought it was pretty funny. Keyone says, I like Angela, but she's messy. Yeah, she still has kind of the audience. I don't know if she's going to be fan favorite, but she still has the audience to the point where she's not attracting too much negative attention yet. But I'm in the YouTube streets. I see a lot of content on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and some of it is kind of vicious toward Angela. Cece, thank you for the update. 4 likes and 7 in the live. Please like, comment, subscribe to ensure Sandra Peach Gen Extra moves up in the YouTube algorithm. Yes, I would appreciate that so much, everybody. And Team Replay, when you listen to this video or you replay it, if you see hype as an option, please go ahead and do that. So Portia comes in with the Tory T. I can't remember what his name was, but Shamea and Angela are kind of going back and forth. And there is this investigation. Angela's like, investigation? She's saying that the whole thing, none of it's true. Drew and Angela are looking at each other crazy. And Shamea's like, you don't have to do all that. She don't need you to confirm. And everybody is sitting there just listening. Something about George. Portia's like, who's Joyce? It's not Joyce, it is George. George was at that rump bum meeting with the green beard. And we get a confessional from Phaedra saying, everybody knows George. George is on some kind of billboard, something for cash. I know that he's an attorney, but I don't know too much else about what he does. So he is also, I don't know if he's Angela's lawyer, but he's her neighbor. So she's in a confessional saying, well, is it okay if I bring up the name? Shamea's like, go ahead. You done already brought up the name. Well, it's George is the husband. The wife's name is Ashley. And Angela's been in communication with Ashley. It sounds like trying to get dirt on Shamea. She's still got all that stuff going, talking about the Hawks, the Falcons, and trying to allude to the fact that Shamea being on this job mean that she's sleeping with all the players on both teams. Now, I don't know what's been in Shamea's past. I know she's not a choir girl, but I don't believe all the stuff that Angela's putting out about Shamea. So we get confessionals from K. Michelle. K. Michelle is saying, oh, and George is married. So now if anybody else got accused of that, it would be a problem. But since it's Shamea, nobody's saying anything. Now that's the confessional. Back here at the table in the castle, K. Michelle's just looking. She's just looking. So Shamea saying, y'all all heard her basically call me a gardening tool, but she said the word. She said, help. She said, y'all heard her call me that, and nobody says anything. That's okay. But if I were to say that about somebody else, then it would be a problem. And Pinky's in the confessional saying, Angela knows everything that goes on with Shamea's vagina. And it seems to be true. Angela's sitting there with this sly smile on her face. Angela's still treating this like a joke, but I could take, like, you going with both the players on both teams. That's a little funny. 2 sports leagues. You know it's not true. But now this is a man that Shamea has done business with. Angela is a neighbor to him and his wife. We're going to hear later that Angela's daughter plays at the friend's house. So Angela, you're getting a little bit too, it's too sticky. I don't like what Angela's doing as far as this goes. And let me look at the comments. I don't believe that. Key1 JTV, I don't believe it either. And it changed, which Cynthia's going to point out. Shamea should have started with Angela talking about Charles. Shouldn't have started with Angela talking about Charles. AB, I have to agree with that, because I think Shamea thought they're going to just do like a little cool little back and forth. But Angela is a person that you don't know how far she's going to go and what she's going to actually say. And then she kept saying like, okay, stop it. I'm going to hurt your feelings. We've seen her do that before. Andre Shannon, my Atlanta friend, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us during this live. Everybody welcome Andre Shannon in. It's great to see you. Angela Oakley was doing too much damage control. Andre, I'm seeing that too. I like Angela. I loved her first season. She went kind of limping out at the end, but I didn't really blame her for what that guy did. I don't know if that's true or not. But she was doing a little too much with Shamea, especially since Shamea is getting attacks from all around. So we don't need Angela to do all of that. And then the damage control, these are her neighbors, and she's making it not look great. I don't like it. I hope they don't bring Miss Ashley on the show. Cece, from the telephone call, I could tell that she was a mess. I don't need to see her in person doing any of that or the reunion. Shamea is not innocent. Absolutely not. And Andre Shannon, I think she picks fights that she can't actually win, but she has my heart because she gets beat up a little bit. She really does. Right. We don't need her at CC. So AB is the second person to say no, Ashley. So we're going to leave it at the text and the telephone call. Agreed. Shamea started it this season about Charles. Linda Gamble. She did. She started it, but Angela is not even finishing it. She's going on and on and on. 4 episodes left of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17. Thank you, Andre Shannon. I was going to wonder if they got 3 reunion, but I bet there will be 3 parts. AB says, thank you to Linda Gamble. Everybody kind of agree, and then Shamea started it. If a baby starts a fight, that don't mean you let her get beat up. And I'm not calling Shamea a baby. Honestly, her and Angela are the same age on this show. They're toddlers. They're 2 years old. But Shamea, you should have more knowledge than Angela. You've been around this for a decade or more. So they're not really in the same category. It's just that Angela's been able to read better than Shamea. Angela isn't going to be invited to the neighborhood block party. Cece, I don't think she is running around talking about somebody sleeping with the husbands. And I'm not sure if it comes up now or not. If it comes up later, then I won't bring it up again. But it seems like George, he thinks Shamea is fine. Who doesn't? Shamea is fine. But we get a confessional from Cynthia when she's in her zoot suit, the white one with the Betty Boop wig. And she is saying, come on now. I don't believe this. She said she started with the Hawks, the Falcons, and now somebody named George. She said there's not enough hours in the day, even with 24. So I agree with that. She said, and Angela's kind of doing a little bit too much on Shamea now. And then we find out something about Angela said, well, I thought that because he paid you. You were so fine, he had to pay you. Production, thank you, production. They showed George giving a donation, one of the big checks. Those checks cost extra, y'all. So just get a regular size check. Those are like $500 to print. But an extra large check for a presentation to Shamea's breast cancer charity. Angela, that was nasty. So that you're saying that this man paid her? So this was disgusting, but nobody believes it. We know Angela is lying, and it's going to come up again. Pinky's joking. Who's George? I need a donation. And Angela saying, you saying that I started investigating you? And then Shamea said, well, I started an investigation on you. Y'all, here's where she turns into 13 years old again. She throws insults out like Portia. None of them can really read. She said, I've investigated and found that your pants don't meet your shoes. Can they meet your shoes? And y'all, why did production show what Angela was wearing? And you could see her socks. Her pants did not reach the top of her shoes. Angela, come on now. You could do better than this. You could order from Tall. The 14s come in T's, all right? You might not be a 14. She's kind of small. Maybe an 8T, but you don't have to have, unless that was just the style of the pants. I don't know. So again, the back and forth doesn't match. This lady got you sleeping with 2 sports teams and one of your attorneys, and you telling her that the top of her pants don't match her shoes. Y'all see why I have to cover Shamea in the cloak of immunity? She's pitiful. She needs it. So Angela's talking about, oh, you a lap dog. She's calling Shamea all these names. Kelly in the confessional is saying, Angela wants to take the whole friend group and turn it into a lap dog. Cynthia is saying, well, in Dallas, we feel like when Shamea is having an okay time, everybody else is as well. When Shamea is not having a good time, the rest of the ladies are not as well. And that, I mean, I could see what she meant, because Shamea did kind of start out making everybody miserable, but I feel like that was a lot of power to give her. And then Shamea is saying, oh, wow, really, really? And K. Michelle was saying, Shamea can't lead me nowhere but to the mall. Of course, she said that in a confessional. We still quiet at the table with K. Michelle, drinking her champagne and eating her little snacks. But we're going to get a good confessional out of K. Michelle, so that's good, I guess. So Phaedra and Portia tell the ladies the food is not there yet. We're going to see Phaedra arrange that later, but they're going to have quite a long time where they get a chance to get in their rooms, relax in their rooms, and then they'll get instructions about when to be ready for dinner. Kelly's joking, Kay's looking for a Jet 2 holiday out of here, because Kay always is a little bit uncomfortable in the group scenes for some reason, but I want to see her kind of settle into it and do a little bit better. And I heard they had a really good reunion. Andy came out of there grinning from ear to ear, said it's the most fun he's had in a long time. So I'm glad to see that. So they released the ladies to their room. The names are on the doors. It's a cute little plaid door hangs. The ladies are just standing there, and then they all exit there. Shamea goes in her room. Shamea, the funny thing about it, she's still wearing her traveling hat, the Scottish fur hat, and she's mad. So she's in her room and she's pouting. She's on the phone, and I got receipts. She said, Kelly, come in here. Kelly went in there, and Lil Hobbit can't wait. She's like, what's going on? She said, Ashley, text me. I want you to look at these texts. Pinky comes in there. Angela's room is near Shamea's. Angela already knows that she's probably going to be caught in this lie. What? You talking about me? Say it in my face. Say it in my face. Angela, this is a lie. She tries to come in the room, and Kelly's kind of joking. You know how you kind of giddy on a trip. I won't hold too much against the Little Hobbit, because she ended up saying, Bigfoot trying to get in your room. And Shamea said, Sasquatch, get out of my room. And Angela goes out of the room, goes in her own room, and she's in her own room, like fussing a little bit, raging. Angela, you're getting ready to get caught in this lie. So these texts from Ashley, Cece said, leave it on the text, leave it on the phone. The texts from Ashley are back and forth between Shamea and Ashley. And it seems like Angela did reach out to Ashley and say, do you know Shamea? Kind of, what do you know about Shamea? And back and forth. We get the screenshots that production gives us. I didn't take it down or save them or anything, because I don't really care that much. The gist of it is Angela's going to be caught in this lie, and she's getting a little up in arms about it. So she's going to try to bully Shamea out of exposing her. So Shamea shows them the text. Pinky comes out in the hallway and then goes into Angela's room and said, they wanted me to bring you this. It was a peace offering. It was the, y'all, my words escape me. I'm sorry. But it was what somebody gave when Angela had the last dinner in the vault, when you're making a peace offering, the little plant. Somebody refresh my memory if you can. Shamea keeps bringing up her feet and calling her Sasquatch. AB, that's basically all she has. She needs another read. Shamea purchased another read. Kiwan J says, on the flip side, if Shamea was friends with Portia, she would act the same way she was last year, and now she wants to play victim. She don't get to choose her beatdown. LOL. Yeah, that's true, Kiwan J. You don't get to choose your beatdown. So that's why you got to be careful who you're playing with, because everybody don't play. Because Angela is taking this a little bit, in my opinion, far. But Shamea, Kiwan J told you can't choose your beatdown. Maybe her pants shrunk in the dryer. AB, they look like she just bought them for the trip. I don't know. AB, you so nice. Yeah, I feel like she bought them like that, Kiwan J TV. She got to go to tall. I'm trying to tell you, Angela, I'm tall as well. You can't just get it off the regular wrap. You got olive branch. Thank you so much. Pinky goes into the room with the olive branch, and Angela's mad. Angela usually has a good disposition. I don't want this fake-ish. So she's mad. And Pinky went in laughing. So Pinky rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. When she first started, a lot of people, she rubbed me the wrong way. I never wanted her fired. There are people that do want Pinky fired. I like how she gets up to fight another day. I like how she tries to go between the groups. I don't want to hear all this talk about bankruptcy. Oh, y'all, she did get a bankruptcy dig in. She said, I think that the friend group needs to file for bankruptcy. I don't know how that fit everybody, but she managed to slide that in when they were on the way to Scotland. So, y'all, that's a trip. Angela's making so much of a ruckus in her room. The other ladies are in there. They're talking about Angela, and that is provocative, because don't do that, y'all. That's not nice. Calling her Sasquatch, Bigfoot, but she was at the door, pounding on the door. Pinky tried to give the olive branch. Angela doesn't want it. Portia comes back up the steps with her cap on. She's like, I'm trying to take my wig off, trying to take my bra off, scratch my braids. And I hear all this going on. And then in the confessional, Portia is telling us, like, when I get somewhere, this is the stuff I like to do. There's already a brawl. So she said, they already in here fussing. So they got Portia stressed. She said, oh, no, not fussing, to herself. Y'all, Portia kind of made me laugh. I think Phaedra made an appearance. She came up. What is going on? So Angela's saying something about Ashley, something about George. Shamea is accusing her of stirring up all this stuff. And this is a mess. Now, production is bringing up everybody, because Portia says, well, this has been done to me. And then we get a confessional from Phaedra. And excuse me, everybody, one moment. I feel like I'm getting a delivery. One moment. Let me make sure. I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize. So we get a confessional from Phaedra, and Phaedra is sitting there kind of like that scene where Celie cussed Mister, everything you done to me already been done. So when she did that, the funny part about it was production showed us what Phaedra's referring to. Y'all, Phaedra's referring to Mr. Chocolate. We get Kenya. Bravo. I thought you didn't want nothing else to do with Kenya. I was glad to see you. And she said, who is the man that you are sleeping with? Who is Mr. Chocolate, the man that you are sleeping with? Y'all know that was supposed to be Cynthia, but Cynthia couldn't get it out and put it on the table. So I love that about 50 Cent, that she don't really like reads that are that low, but we know Kenya has no bottom and she'll go as low as she need to go. And production doesn't seem to mind, honey. They brought it back up. I loved it. We saw Candy. Now, y'all gonna ever bring Candy back or not? I don't need her. But they showed Candy. So Kelly, y'all better stay on your game, because they're showing a lot of the OGs. So I found that really interesting. Of course, that was none other than Jamal Bryant. And we know Giselle doesn't see it for Phaedra to this day. So anybody who has watched through the years, we know what all of this is about. And these new ladies know what it's about too, because let's be real, they've studied the show. They have studied the show. So Angela is in her room. She's rolling her hands. She's doing all this stuff. And Portia is in her confessional. She's saying, do you think I'm going to give a reaction about what Angela is saying about Shamea? You're going to have to literally use AI, put it in my mouth, and B, you better not do that. Of course, production thinks they're cute, so they do that. We see Portia's face, and they've got Angela's mouth saying Shamea and all the people that Shamea is supposed to be sleeping with. So production has a little bit of a sense of humor. Phaedra let them know, okay, we're going to meet for dinner later. So y'all, this was too much. Kelly is joking. She's in there with Drew now, and she wants Drew to show her the mouth exercises. We know Drew likes to do her little mouth exercises because she's a singer and an actress. And some people claim that she's acting on this show. I don't know. I know she's an actress, but I feel like this is reality TV for her. So I'm okay with Drew doing that. We get another confessional from Phaedra. She says, after the debacle of that sound bad dinner I had at my house, she says, I want to make sure that they can make it through all these courses. We find out that Phaedra has arranged to have a Michelin star chef cook for them. So I love this. Frick and Frat come down. No, let me jumping the gun. They didn't come down yet. Everybody retires to their rooms. Angela and Shamea thing has died down for now. I noticed they were in different cars when they go to dinner, but we see the call that Phaedra made to the chef. He's grinning from ear to ear, and I find most chefs stoic, unless it's like Emerald or somebody. And he was like, I'm so glad to have you back. And she's like, I'm so glad to be back. We always talk about Phaedra and her connections. he has something laid out for them. It's going to be like a taste of Scotland. So they're arranging the time and they all come down. Everybody looks appropriate and beautiful except for the little hobbit. Kelly, where did you get this turquoise hat? It's one of those Scottish faux fur hats, but it is turquoise. And then she has like all strapped down. The girls are like strapped to her. It is a mess. And then Drew says, "Oh, you're on theme." Drew, that was shade. And Kelly says, "Yeah, I'm dressed like the bagpipe lady." Production flashes back to the plaid that the bagpipe lady had on. Y'all, this was a mess. Portia saying, "I hope everybody had a chance to wash their face and they ate." Portia, "I hope so too, but we know some of them are probably not too concerned with that." She said, "I hope everybody be able to calm down." But Angela's still in her feelings in the car. And y'all, Angela, I don't know why you did this, because Phaedra and also Portia were privy to a call. I apologize, everybody. I jumped the gun. When the text was going on, when Ashley was on the text, Angela ends up calling her. "You think I won't call her? Let me call her myself." Phaedra and Portia, when they went to the room, because it was so loud up there, they went in the room with Angela. Angela, for some reason, gets on speakerphone with Ashley. "Angela, everybody's not privy to your script and your lie." Ashley is like, where does Shamea get it from? Where does people saying that George, now George is her husband, George was effing Shamea? And Angela said, "Oh, they got that from me." And Phaedra and Portia were sitting on Angela's bed, and one of them, like, I think it was Portia, used her arm to kind of bump Phaedra, like, "You hear this? Angela, this is a rookie mistake, or second season toddler, early show mistake, baby. You don't do this. These are two vets here. They're saving this information for later." So you said that, Angela. Nobody told you that Shamea was sleeping with this man. Nobody believes she is sleeping with George. And Shamea is correctly concerned that once you keep throwing that kind of stuff out there, people that don't like you are going to want to believe it. So Angela already knows she's messed up. She's trying to put the genie back in the bottle. They've all gotten dressed for dinner. They're in the car. They put Angela in the car with them because Angela really, they don't know how she's going to react with anybody else. And they probably want to see if she's going to throw any other stuff out there. Angela says, "I mean, how low are we going to go?" And with what she said to my daughter, one of the fracks said, "What she said to your daughter?" Y'all, grown Amari, production shows us when Shamea saw her, she says, "You're a lot sweeter than your mom." I thought that was a little silly. I didn't think it was appropriate, but it's not what Angela's making it out to be. It's not like she said that to baby girl, the 8-year-old. She's talking to your adult daughter at the event. So, and well, no, I was going to say Amari might be sweeter than you, but I don't think she is. I think both of y'all kind of a mess, even though I like both of them. They're on their way to dinner, and there's already been a blowout. So I'm going to go back to the comments, and then we'll finish the scenes, everybody. And Pinky is trying to be the moderator now. AB, it didn't work out being the antagonist because she jumped up to get knocked completely down by Angela. That was a mess. Keywan J says, "I like Pinky. I'm not sure what she did." Oh, you liked Pinky? I think she came on a little aggressive. I thought that about her too. And I honestly, Keywan J, I'm going to try to remember the conversation that ever make me think Pinky was aggressive at the time, because I'm one of the people, I didn't care for Pinky. Your reviews are always fair. Thank you, Keywan JTV. I try to go back when I get more information. I'm willing to change if I hear more information that warrants it. But I won't lie. I didn't care for Pinky. And I don't know, Pinky Cole, what'd you do to me? Because I didn't like Pinky at all. I'm like, Pinky talking all that talk. And then even the way her and Derek interacted, I just didn't like it. And now it started in Dallas when she got kind of sliced and diced by Angela, and she got up, sat down, got up. She was ready to keep jumping back in, and I respect that more than I do what K. Michelle's doing, and I hope she gets better. Andre Shannon says, Portia Williams did not discuss Shamea at all this Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17. Portia Williams moved on. Shamea has not. Andre Shannon, I think Shamea is taking the loss of that friendship a lot more deeply than Portia has. Look like Portia has already mourned the friendship. They were friends since early teens, maybe even preteen. And I think Portia probably knows now that she can't trust Shamea. Remember her first full Peach season, Shamea came in admitting to the alliance. I wanted to get all the new fun girls together, except Angela. She left her out. And then she was trying to protect Portia, but she was also inheriting Portia's beef. Like Portia had a beef with Drew about Dennis. Why Shamea jumping on Drew? And then another thing, Andre Shannon, Portia is making up with everybody that she had any type issue with, even Kelly. Kelly kind of jumped Portia last season. Why you take that lady husband? We're going to see them kind of thaw things out. And now Shamea's kind of left alone. All the people that she thought she could use against Portia, she's not been able to do that because they're all making up with her. Those old walls are thin for sure. Yeah, and Angela wasn't being quiet, I'll tell you that. Stomping them feet around, banging on the door. No, she wasn't doing all that, but she was kind of making a ruckus because she brought freaking Frack back upstairs, and Portia had already taken her wig off. And when Portia leave the room, did you say, see, she had her hat? She had her hand over the back of her hat. Because production, y'all think y'all cute. You're always trying to film up under our wigs and stuff. I've seen tracks and stuff on Beverly Hills. So this lady got a wig line. You're not going to get to see her tracks and all that. She don't have to show you that in her straight backs. I noticed that about them. I was glad when Phaedra checked them. Phaedra, why didn't you say about your wig? She said, Beverly Hills wig don't be tacked down. So I watched them. Andre Shannon says, Pinky Cole is still brand new and she failed. Andre Shannon, if she's still brand new, how can we say she failed? I think I'm going to give Pinky a lot more grace because this is her first season. Kelly's season 2, Angela's season 2. But, and even okay, Michelle, even though I hate to do it, I don't like how she's moving, but I'll give her a little more grace too. But you're not alone, Andre Shannon. A lot of people think Pinky failed. Pinky get a pink slip every week from Linda Gamble. She didn't say it this week yet, but she gets a pink slip every single week. And I fold it up and I put it in the desk drawer because Pinky Cole ain't going nowhere, not yet. I think she can grow as a housewife. American Born says, Phaedra probably met him while on Traders. American Born, Phaedra is just that type. You know, if they brought a Michelin star chef there, Phaedra is in the kitchen and everywhere else, just meeting people, making those connections that are so valuable. And I think her and Portia being friends, I think Portia's learning to do that too. Keywan says, y'all know they be trying to play with my girl, Drew. They sure do, Keywan J. But Drew's a survivor as well. She's a survivor too. Listen, Drew has won me back to her side this year, American Born said. Yeah, people were tough on Drew, but Drew always lives to fight another day, and I do like that about her. Keywan says, okay, AB. Yeah, Drew deserves it. She deserves second, third, and fourth chance, and I give her a lot of grace because of dealing with that old peanut head Ralph. And y'all, why did production put a Ralph sighting in there? Production, I don't know why y'all like Ralph. Keep that man off our screen. Little windmill with you now. Yet I'll windmill with you now. You will. And Drew a windmill for herself. That's the thing that the ladies don't know. Drew's not a punk. She's not afraid. She's willing to go toe to toe. Thank you, AB. And she's won some of the audience over because they used to be tough on her. You doing Rhode Island today, Keywan JTV? And Linda Gamble, thank you so much for the update. 8 likes, 14 in the chat. Thank you so much. Some of you drop down, please, and click the like button if you will. Or if you want to do it on the way out, I would appreciate that. AB for you, yes. I'll set my notifications. Keywan JTV is one of my fellow content creators, everybody. In addition to reality TV, also some scripted television as well. So if you will, make sure you are you're subscribed to her channel and click the notification bell to all so that you are reminded. And it's allegedly that Candy may be returning, allegedly. Linda Gamble, you're like me. I noticed when they start dropping little hints because out of nowhere, production gives us a Candy sighting and a Candy expression. Y'all see that case, that face Candy made about Mr. Chocolate? I thought that was funny. Oh, no, American Born said, AB, you don't care for Candy? I can take her or leave her. AB, too, I think that's the word on the Bravo sector. Yeah, I don't know if it's wishful thinking or if it's true. I don't know. I'm keeping my ear to the street. I'm going to look at Reddit, too. Skid Row. AB, you're welcome. Why? Keywan J, you could leave Candy, too? Yeah, I feel like, I mean, she shared. I'm not a person that says she's boring or she doesn't do anything. Candy Burris has shared everything to share with us. And I'm good on her. I'm good on her. Linda loves those pink slips. Yes, keep taking them out the drawer, American Born. She's laughing. Pinky got one. I think Drew got one. Drew got one last week. Kelly got one. Somebody else got fired too. Pinky gets fired every week though. I don't know why he's laughing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind if Candy comes back. Pinky, Shamea, and the Hobbit still fired. I don't know. I think they like that Kelly will like lay it all out on the line, but I think that Kelly does a lot of fake stuff too. We know she came in and wasn't flexing like she wanted us to believe. Yeah, we don't want to see Wreck-It Ralph. Oh, they keep putting his face up there. I don't want to see him at all. And AB doesn't want Candy back either. I think it's a consensus. Does anybody want Candy back? Only because Candy has divorced Raggedy Todd. It seemed like some of those businesses are going down the drain. I don't know if it's because of without Todd. I don't know. So these ladies are on their way to dinner. And I thought they would have a nice, calm dinner, but these ladies, you know how you are when you take them anywhere. Now, I wish they would give us a better idea of time frame because they got there earlier in the day. They had a little snack. Phaedra arranged the dinner with the Michelin star chef, and she said you're going to have quite a bit of time to relax, wash up, take time. Now they are headed to dinner in separate cars. So we have a few other conversations going on again. And we were already privy to the fact that Ashley has been back and forth text with Shamea. And also Angela has called Ashley. Angela has been overheard on the call. Well, actually, they were right there. Freaking frack. Now know what was said on the call. And it looks like Angela has made up this lie about George and Shamea sleeping together. Then she changes it to, well, he said she was so fine, he had to give her something and that he paid her. We find out that's a charity donation. Angela even has a very cringe confessional. If you bring clothes to Goodwill, you don't say something like, ooh, the person's so fine, I'm going to donate clothes. That doesn't make sense, Angela. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like it. So now she's floated this thing about she's offended that Shamea is talking about her child or approaching her child because she says, you're sweeter than your mom. And production even showed us what she said. It wasn't that big a deal. So Shamea, Pinky, somebody else, I think it was K. Michelle, had gotten there. And Shamea, good job. Shamea says, she's got a straight wig on. She's looking pretty. She says, I'm glad we got here a little early. I wanted to bring up to you, I didn't like the fact that you brought it up in front of a group that K. Michelle and I had something going on that hurt my feelings. I didn't want to bring it up in front of the group. And Kay said, well, it hurt me that you had talked about me. And then we see K. Michelle at lunch with Pinky when she told Pinky that she was crying in the car and all this kind of stuff. K. Michelle, all we want you to do is bring it to the person. Had you called Shamea, we wouldn't even be here now. Shamea, everybody says, well, I can take accountability that it was wrong the way that I was phrasing things with the friends. We know that the friends are Candy Barris, Rashida, the group of people whom they call Atlanta. That small segment of women, they are not Atlanta. K. Michelle likes to say, Atlanta don't like me. Atlanta don't like me. Atlanta love you. Have people that love you in Atlanta, K. Michelle. Rashida and them don't like you. No, you threw a lit candle in Rashida's face. So no, they don't like you. That group doesn't like you. Toya and them, they don't like you. They happen to be friends with Candy, but they can't stop your bag. Keep your job. And she, frankly, Kay was acting like she wanted to run away from this show. Now I think she's settling in. And if she did have a good reunion, I think that she does want to stay here. So I hope she doesn't get fired. I think everybody that's here this season, the whole ensemble, could come back. As far as I'm concerned, I'd like to see it. So Kay was saying that she was hurt about that. Pinky brought it up. Pinky, as somebody mentioned, is setting herself up as a moderator. I think 50 Cent put her up to it because she's saying she can't be the only one. But Cynthia, sometimes she kind of chooses a side, which Shamea alludes to. So Shamea is taking accountability. She said she apologizes for how that came out. And then Kay said that she left the club in tears. And she gets an apology from Shamea, which I like the fact that she got an apology from Shamea. So Kay is saying, I know that you have a huge heart. And her and Shamea are kind of making up. In the confessional, of course, the way that K. Michelle talks about Shamea in the confessional is so different than the way she talks about her to her face. And that's one of the issues that I have with K. Michelle. I wish K. Michelle would bring more of what she's bringing to the scene, because I don't really like that. Next, we get Kelly and Drew came in. Portia came in. Everybody is finally there. And the chef, Phaedra, had already talked to the chef, described to them what they're getting. You're getting a tour of everything Scotland. Pinky says, take me to MLK Boulevard. Now, Pinky jokes around a lot. That's kind of funny, but Pinky, you don't have to do all that now. And Kelly's joking, is it chitlins on the menu? Phaedra gets in a confessional and says, well, If you've been eating fried vegan burgers and chicken and waffles, then your palate may not be ready for refined eating. I agree, Phaedra. You can't take everybody everywhere. But I think they were just joking. But it kind of annoyed Phaedra a little bit because that takes a lot to set that up. A Michelin star chef is very prestigious. So all the ladies are kind of talking back and forth. And Kay is saying that there's a strong friendship that's developing. And she's letting the group know that they had a conversation about what Kay Michelle talked to Pinky about. And her and Shamea are kind of smoothing things out. So Pinky, thinking that she was the facilitator, she's in a confessional saying, not all heroes wear capes. Not too much, Pinky, because I don't really see her as this great moderator. I still look at Pinky on a team, and it's Team Pinky, Team K Michelle, Team Kelly, and also who else is on the other? Shamea. But that's kind of cracking a little bit, everybody. I think they know that that's not the right team. I think they want to be on Team Fun, which is Frickin' Frack and Drew and Cynthia. Angela was on that team, but Angela, your actions are kind of placing you in the middle and kind of on the fringe. Shamea is kind of on an island by herself. They're getting ready to turn against her. So Angela and let's see. Oh, Kelly. Kelly is telling Phaedra she appreciates her professionalism. She appreciates the fact that she has her back. She brings up the her serving as attorney for her again. I wanted everybody to know that Phaedra had done that for me. The fact that the girls could not shoot. And Drew was looking shocked like she didn't know. But yeah, the girls can't shoot, Drew. And I don't know if Drew's children, if Ralph's allowing them to shoot or not. So this was a trip. Phaedra's in a confessional, y'all. She gets a little bit touched. She says, I want to support everybody. I want this group to move to a place of sisterhood. I believe Phaedra, y'all. I think Phaedra has gotten kind of tired of how low they can go. So Angela at the table is saying, can we agree that children are off limits? Now, again, no children were involved. No children were hurt in the making of this reality show. Angela, we're not talking about baby girl. We're talking about the grown Amari. You're speaking about her marriage, her sexuality, everything else on TV. And this lady can't say to her in fun, you sweeter than your mom. Angela, I can't with you on this one. This is kind of ridiculous. So then after Kelly thanks Phaedra, Phaedra gets a little touched by that. We get a confessional from Angela. I don't know. Has production turned on Angela? Because she just looked bitter in the confessional. She says, you're being sued north, south, east, west. I would say a little speech too if I got free legal services. So I was kind of shocked to hear that from Angela. Angela, this is going to be a tough reunion. A tough reunion. And I don't think Charles is going to be sitting back there trying to answer for you either. Because he was a little bit of comic relief last year. I don't know if we're going to see that this year. So I thought that was, they're making her look a little bit bitter, and you might be making yourself look a little bit bitter. I thought this was a trip. So they were asking Portia, would she settle down with the woman? Portia says, well, I'm not sure. I always thought of a husband, but now I can pay my own bills. I can do this, that, and the other. So Portia has kind of, I think she said she's now on a spectrum. So again, y'all, I always thought that Sway had the most in common and just fun looking relationship, serious relationship with Portia, then Big Mike, who I think is fake, and Dennis, who I don't trust because Dennis is a garden tool, cheated on the woman during her pregnancy, and I think broke Portia's heart. And even though that's PJ's dad, I don't really see them in it for the long haul. So Pinky lets us know, y'all, that she was in a relationship for 3 years. And Portia said, you were gay. So they're all laughing about it. I think Kelly was saying something in the confessional. Oh, Lord, she had, Drew had Ralph in the basement, and I want to go to Pinky's house and see who's in the basement or in the cage or something. Kelly, don't do too much. Y'all don't know that we had a whole thing about dungeons and stuff on this show. You can do little jokes and digs, but don't start that. That's not cute. So she said something about unlocking a cage or something like that. Cynthia's asking all of these questions about being fluid and on the spectrum. So Cynthia, we didn't know that. We didn't know anything about you doing all this. I kissed a woman once. Portia said, and you had your mouth open. Production shows us the throwback. Production misses the old RHOA, and they are throwing back. They show Portia and Cynthia kiss, and it was a kiss. So that was pretty funny. They asked Pinky if she would date a lady again. Now Pinky's married. Do y'all know that Pinky is married to Derek, to a man? Phaedra's in a confessional. I had always known Pinky swam in the lady pond, submerged in the lady pond. I was surprised she married a man. Now, Phaedra, just because we don't know your business doesn't mean you don't have business. So this little dinner conversation they were having, it was kind of funny. Sometimes they get a little nasty, but it was just a little grown people talk. I didn't have a problem with the dinner conversation. I don't think we heard from Angela. Let me go through the comments, and then we will go back to the dinner table. Linda's still giving out pink slips. K. Michelle is also fired. I would have agreed probably up to episode 6 or 7, but not now. The It Girl, thank you so much for joining us, dropping down in the live to say hello. Candy would be good to come back, especially K. Michelle, Shamea, and Phaedra. So we have a vote for Candy to come back. Nobody sound like they wanted her back, the It Girl, but I pay attention to the cues when they start dropping little hints and showing throwbacks. And we got to see Candy in one of her expressions during the Mr. Chocolate scene, the man that you are sleeping with. There's no Drew slander. This is a no Drew slander zone. If she deserves to be slandered, I got to give it to her. But Drew hasn't really done anything. Drew is slick at the mouth and all of this, but I feel like she's entitled to do that because they're always coming for Drew. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Deborah Randall. Thank you for coming in saying hello during the live. I appreciate it. Angela's out here looking crazy. Keywan JTV, what is going on with her? I think Andy has reminded some of the second season housewives, well, he reminded Stacy of RHOP, not to let it go to your head and get crazy. And he should have had that same conversation with Angela because I don't understand what she's doing. I wonder if Candy come on, what will happen to Kay and Phaedra? I wonder if they could remain friends because we know that Candy has forgiven everyone surrounded with that situation but Phaedra. Her and Portia are cool, and Portia's the one that bought the lie to TV. Hello, sweet lady. Thank you so much for joining us. Hello, everyone. Hello back. Everyone is speaking back to sweet lady. I'm hearing Tyrese's song in my head when I see your name. Sweet lady. Dropping down to say hello. Thank you. We are in Scotland, of course, with our Atlanta Peaches. They are having a little girl talk about girl action. And K. Michelle, y'all, she's come to life, rose up and start telling them about, yeah, I was dating somebody one time and another girl stole the girl from her. Well, Kay, you were cheating on the girl. She said that the girl jumped on top of her car, and I'm sure it was a nice car, because she found out K. Michelle was cheating on her with a man. Kay ended up losing that girl to her hairstylist. So, Kay, you lost a girlfriend and your hairstylist. This was a mess. So, Kay is saying that turned her back to men. They have a little bit more of the conversation. The ladies are laughing. I know they knew that because they had that on the show. The girl jumped across the table and tried to fight her on TV. And Kay's little assistant that used to always be in her business had to break it up. Because Kay was talking a little bit slick to the girl, like, what are you talking about? And the girl was like, you know what I'm talking about? And I said to myself, these two are going together. You could tell because the girl had so much emotion. And it wasn't just like friend emotion, like Shamea and Portia. Shamea sits there and says, I kissed the girl one time. Portia started eating soup. Portia, we see you. I don't know what these two have been into together, but I think it was more than just, I kissed the girl one time. So, Keywan J, come get Drew. Drew's sitting there. Didn't I hear something about you kissing a girl in the club? Drew, you were sitting right at the reunion when it came up. You kissed Candy in the club? I kissed Candy in the club. That was when Portia and Shamea were getting into it. So now Shamea is going to roll out a new lie that is the depth of her experience. Shamea, I'm sorry, I don't believe you. I know you got to clean up a lot of stuff for Gerald and his business partners, but Shamea, I don't know if I believe that. I think Shamea does a lot of stuff with her fingers crossed behind her back, like, well, if I say it and I look real cute and do this, I can be believed. No, Shamea, you're lying. I don't believe you. Drew says, well, with my experience, it was during my marriage. I was being submissive. Drew, when you were over there going with Ty, Ralph didn't have nothing to do with that. Ralph was actually jealous of that. He brought it up and he had a problem with it. And then they showed, Egghead Ralph again on the reunion. So throwback all you want, production, but please stop showing us Ralph. Drew was asking Kelly. Kelly jumps up and said, yeah, me too. I did that within my marriage. I don't believe it. Y'all seen Kelly's ex-husband. Kelly, stop lying. Kelly said, but then I found out that I'm too jealous. And Drew said, did it damage your marriage? Because when it happened with us, it damaged my marriage. Because Ralph probably started seeing the girl behind your back. And I've heard, I don't know for myself, but that's one of the things that they're not supposed to do. I think that's what hurt Candy and Todd. You open it up, but then the husband opens it up without the wife being involved, and then there's an issue. So we get a confessional from Kelly, and production is saying, oh, you saying that this happened within your marriage? And Kelly's saying, oh, did I say that? I got to stop drinking on trips. Kelly, no, you can drink on trips. You just got to stop lying. You lie on vacation too, and you need to stop doing that. Shamea got Portia sitting there eating soup and not talking. And Shamea, I don't know. I don't believe this. So Drew said, well, didn't you say you kissed a girl in the club? And Portia said, you just ruined the mood. You're being messy. And she says, oh, I'm sorry. And she doesn't continue. So y'all, I thought that was really cute. K. Michelle starts giving a whole commercial for some kind of girl on girl site. We find out Cynthia likes to watch that too. Girl on girl corn. There's a whole site. Okay, Michelle, make these people pay you some money. I didn't know the name. I don't remember the name. Didn't write down the name. I'm not going to go looking. Pinky's teasing them. I'm going to grab y'all phones. I'm going to see who's on these sites in the morning. They can do what they want to do, but I wouldn't be giving them all these free advertising. And Bravo had the nerve to leave whoever it was name in on the thing. So Angela is telling Shamea, she's bringing up again about Amari. Angela, they were just having a fun, funny conversation. We don't want to hear about Amari. Why is she bringing this up? So are we going to say that kids are off limits? You overstep a boundary because you didn't understand what I'm going through at this moment. Shamea's looking like, oh, Lord, here we go again. Shamea got her little straight wig on like, ugh. And the people starting to feel sorry for Shamea. We get a confessional with K. Michelle saying like, everybody's kind of going at Shamea again. Now they've gotten off Shamea for a minute. Now they're back on Shamea. And I think Angela is just deflecting. I think somebody mentioned that. Might have been K. Michelle or Shamea that she is deflecting. So Phaedra of all people says, yeah, we can make an agreement that children are off limits. And then somebody says children in marriages. And Phaedra says, no, if they're willing to participate, just children. So Phaedra, I don't know about that. I remember when Kenya said that Apollo was foin, which is obviously a joke when you call somebody foin. It's, I mean, they probably are foin, but it's like a joke, like fine, you're foin. So Phaedra's now just leaving kids and marriages. No, kids off limits. Marriages are not. So this is a trip. Drew gets another messy confessional. She says, I think that Shamea, every time she talks to someone else, she really wants to talk to Portia. So if she is talking to Drew, she wants to talk to Portia. She's talking to Angela. She wants to talk to Portia. And production loves Drew's messiness because why are they putting Portia's face over every single person that Drew mentions? It was kind of funny to watch, but I don't think that Shamea is going to like that because everybody else is bringing up Portia. Shamea is not. Now, do I think a lot of Shamea's heartache comes over her, the breakdown of her relationship with Portia? I do. And I think that it's even worse for Shamea. Now she has to watch people that were not cool with Portia turn around and be cool with Portia, like Angela. The fact that Angela and Portia are cool when Portia's the one that said, keep messing with me out, F. Charles, in Nashville. Drew wasn't even invited to Nashville. That's how on the out she was with Portia. Both of those ladies are now cool with Portia. Shamea laughed, and she shouldn't have, but she's still on the outs with Angela. And then she met with Ralph because she was trying to have a beef with Drew on behalf of Portia. And now Portia and Drew are together again. Even the little alliance she put together with Britt Edie, Kelly, where they're going to go at the vets. Britt Edie's not here, but now Kelly is friends with Portia again. The little hobbit was in the room, y'all, laying on the bed. They were all telling her, we feel for you. We want you to win. We know you're going through a divorce, and we want to take care of you. And the little hobbit was eating it up, everybody, eating it up. Kiwan says, Drew, stop being messy. Kiwan, I don't think she can. Because the look on her face, it was like you tell a child to stop doing something, they keep doing it. Then they get that little look. Portia's like, okay, you just ruined the mood or the vibe, something she said. And she was like, I'm sorry. She wasn't sorry because she got it out there. It's like when you're in a courtroom and you throw something messy out and the judge's like, that's off limits. The attorney doesn't care. He already put it out there. And he's like, jury, disregard. The jury's like, I heard that. So that was Drew. Drew put it out there. Drew was definitely with Ty, LOL. And Kiwan J production checked her on that because she was like, yeah, within my marriage. Why did they show her and Ralph at the reunion and Ty was being discussed? And then we saw Drew say, yes, I had someone who was laughing at my jokes and liked me. So yeah, we know Ty was going around to the different reality shows and she was pulling a lot of women that men would be happy to have. Drew being one of them, over there with Ming Lee over on Basketball Wives. More than that, I can't think of I don't know all Ty's business, but I know enough. Sharon, welcome in. Sharon Gabo came in and spoke to myself in the chat. Good to see you. Thank you for making the live. We are almost at the end of Scotland. It's only night one, so we're going to be there a couple of weeks, but this is the first review where I get to cover the ladies in Scotland. Everybody's speaking to Sharon, and she is speaking back. Great to see you in the live. Kiwan says, yes, his housewives marriages are the show. Yeah, Corlin, I think so too, unfortunately. Now, I don't like when they target these marriages like that, but Phaedra's saying children are off limits, marriages are not. But then Phaedra, in fairness to Phaedra, she got to remember how she reacted when people would come at her and Apollo. Namely Kenya. She can't stand Kenya to this day. Sharon's laughing about the little hobbit. Now, that is something that was left of Britt Eady. When they finally fell out, the little hobbit moved funny with Britt Eady. Once she found out Britt didn't really have money like that, she dropped Britt like a hot potato. Now she's over here in a free townhome. Thank you for bringing that up because that was part of the scene. She's over here with free legal services. She is a trip. 12 likes and 15 in the live. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, subscribe to ensure as Sandra P's Gen Extra moves up in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you, everyone. Yes, particularly if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate that so much. But while they were talking about the different things that were going on at dinner, the other thing that came up, Kelly thanked Phaedra for her legal services, and she said, and I'm so grateful to Shamea that she was able to, I didn't know where I was going to go. And she put me, my girls, the turtle, the dog in a townhome. Shamea started laughing and everybody was just laughing. And then we get a confessional from Portia. And Portia says, I really think that what Shamea did for her, that was great. So I don't know. I think that when Shamea watches these flashbacks, I think she's going to kind of have a little soft space in her heart for Portia. But y'all, they're gonna, I believe, come to blows. That's the rumor, the word on the street. In Scotland, somebody gonna throw down. So Pinky, you want MLK Boulevard? I think it's coming next week or the week after. I don't know who's gonna throw bows first, but we haven't seen P. Willie or Peach Juice. I'm pretty sure they are in Scotland though. So they had a pretty good dinner. Angela tried to get something started. That did not go. But the ladies go back to the castle and let's see. Oh, when they get back to the castle, they were in the room with Team Fun, which was everybody except for Pinky wasn't in there, K. Michelle wasn't in there, and Shamea wasn't in there. So laying on the bed, of course, we have Drew, we have Cynthia, we have Frickin' Frack, and the little hobbit made her way in there. So Kelly's making her cry face. She walks in. Kiwan J, guess who had their phone and pulled up the information about Kelly? $200 million that Mr. Bigfoot, Kelly calling people Bigfoot. Did y'all see her husband's shoes at the wedding? It was ridiculous. Pastor Cavassier or whatever he calls himself. Some people call him Mark. Some people call him Chavalos. I don't know what his name is. But this man was suing Bravo for $200 million. So Kelly came in the room upset. Cynthia had on her plaid pajamas, and that made Portia laugh. She said she just committed to the bit. So Cynthia has been all Scotland, but Cynthia is a supermodel. She's been all over the world. She knows how to always come in appropriately. Kelly's upset, making her cry face. And they start telling her they really do support her. They really want not to have teams and to have Kelly in with them. Yeah, the little hobbit is eating it up. She's doing her cry face. Drew's doing hers. But the scene was really sweet. And I kind of believe what Portia was saying. Portia said, even when we had the event, she said, I wanted to go to you, but I didn't really know how to go to you. But she said, I don't want to fight with you. I don't want us to fight with each other. I want us to make up. I want us to be able to trust each other. I thought it was really sweet. Now, Kelly, you do live in Shamea's townhome. You just thanked her. Thank you for moving me, the turtle, the dog, the girls. What are you going to do if Shamea don't like the fact that you've made up with Portia? So was that why she was looking for that place with an elevator, Kelly? She told you could stay there as long as you want to, but I don't know. She can't pick your friends. So they have a nice girls talk, and they kind of encourage each other, let us know that they do want to make up. They're trying to leave it on a positive space. And Drew is saying that I'm going through something similar. I don't even know where I'm going to live. And she makes a cry face. And y'all, I think it was real. Drew said she don't even know where she's going to live. And Kelly tells her, don't worry about what's going on. Just you can have somewhere for yourself and for your son. So they're like crying to each other. And Cynthia's telling them that, she supports them and woman to woman and all this kind of stuff. I thought that was really sweet. Now, I found it interesting. Production did not show us any of the pink slip people. I only say pink slip people. I don't believe it, but Linda Gamble does. They didn't show us, you know how they do a contrast? They didn't show us what Shamea, K. Michelle, Pinky, they didn't show us what the other part of the group, even Angela, were doing in the other rooms during this time where the fun group plus Kelly are having this session of where they're saying they support each other and they want to be close, and they don't like the fact that they kind of all fell out. Even Portia and Kelly made up. So Portia was saying, I know I got teased about my prenup and all of this, but a house, that's your home. That's where you raise your kids. Kelly finally says, because I've gotten on Kelly since her first season, didn't like the way she came in, even though what she was asking was what I wanted to know. Why did you take the lady husband? That will start a whole other conversation about the state of Fallon's marriage and Simon and all that kind of stuff. Kelly asked that upon meeting Portia. Portia said, I know you didn't ask me that. You need to come with something else when you meet me. And Kelly didn't take Portia. Kelly still persisted. So now she's laying in here on this bed. They all crying and holding each other. And she's made up with Portia. And she said, I have come at you pretty tough. I have said things to you. And I want to apologize to you. So the little hobbit know how to move too, y'all. She's all made up with Portia Williams. So they're laying in here, holding hands and hugging, braiding each other's hair, and they are all friends together again. We do get a confessional from Shamea. Shamea was in the red dress, and for some reason, Shamea was giving us the 23rd Psalms, and production did bonk when she said it wrong. So she said, the Lord is my shepherd. I have everything I want or whatever. Just a joke from Friday. But we get another Phaedra in a confessional. And then we see her on the bed with the women. And she says, I just want everybody to know. She said her favorite scripture. She's been through the same thing that the rest of them have been through. She's never without, because there is a black card in heaven. Y'all, I didn't know that. In heaven, you get a black card and you get anything you want. So Phaedra's saying that her favorite scripture is like the prayers of the righteous are never forsaken. And all of the ladies agree with that. Portia ends on a rude note. She wants them to go back to their rooms and play with themselves. Y'all, I wish I was joking, but I'm not. Portia Williams, you are a mess. You keep something going. So I'm going to give this episode, I wrote down a 7. I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8. And I think because the chat is dropping stuff in here that is triggering my memory, and I really enjoyed the episode. Mrs. Best Reviews. This is one of the content creators I like to go on the YouTube streets and listen to. If you're not over there, please go. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you leave her a like. Team Replay, make sure you give her a hi. Hi, Sandra, Chad. Happy Monday, beautiful people. And I have my notification bell set. She is doing Rhode Island tonight. This episode was so good. I just gave it an 8. So it was good. I love when they go on trips. So y'all, Mrs. Best Reviews, look for her tonight if you haven't seen part 2. I haven't done my Rhode Island review. I've watched it. I enjoyed it. But she's going to get hers on tonight. So go over there and set your notification bell so you don't miss her. AB is speaking. Kiwan J, hey Thuggy. Yes, that is another bonus. Y'all, some of Gen X, we were never called thugs, okay? We love Tupac, admired him. Y'all see Janet Jackson with the Tupac shirt on last night? But you can be a thug over at Mrs. Best Reviews, okay? Did she call the little hobbit? I'm hollering. Yes, Britt Edie left that, okay? That's the only thing she left that we can use that was pretty funny. She said, no one wants to be you little hobbit. Britt really cheated herself out of that job because I think that she could have come into her own. I saw how they rallied around Kelly. Oh, y'all think it was real? I do think it was real, Kiwan JTV. I think Kelly knows how to maneuver, and I think that she has become friends with Portia Williams. Corlin Williams said Angela was acting a donkey. The whole episode, Corey Lynn, and Angela's usually my girl. Kiwan J agrees with Corlin and said, yes. I don't know why Angela was doing all that. And then when she got caught in that lie, this is Housewives. You can smooth out a lie. Sometimes they get caught in the biggest lie. Look at Frickin' Frack. Frickin' Frack accused someone of a crime, been on hiatus for 7 years, have not missed the NBC Universal check. Both of them been on Traders, and here they are back. And Angela, you can't get over a little lie that you told. You're going to expand it and make it bigger. So now she's not just sleeping with the Hawks, the Falcons, but this man with the green beard named George. Angela, I'm concerned for you this reunion. I really am. I thought it was a nice ending to the episode. AB, I did too. I really did. Mrs. Beth says, I had the same question. Too much. Dougie, it felt authentic. I just hope it was. Yeah, Kiwan JTV, I hate the fact that we have to watch these reality shows with kind of one eye open, like, except for Rhode Island, because our girls don't know yet. Hey, don't do that. You're going to look crazy. They don't know. They don't mind looking crazy, and I love it. So part 2, y'all, I didn't review it yet. If I make time tomorrow, I'll try. But I've watched it. It was really good. You never know with these ladies. Yeah, I hope it's not fake. I see a few people questioning it. I don't know. Portia gave good advice. Corlin, Portia's been through the fire and back, and they can really listen to her and learn from her and not just hold her to, oh, she's dumb as a box of rocks. Yeah, back in the day, but we've watched her grow up on reality TV as far as coming into her, out of her first marriage, into the second one, all these relationships. Now she's settling in with Sway. She said Sway might be the one. She did. I didn't care for her, but she's slowly warming up to her again. Mrs. Best. Yeah, Portia, she gave good advice. I mean, she's good TV. Frick and Frack, I will always scold them for what they did to Candy in season 9. That reunion was unlike anything I'd ever seen. I hope we never see anything that dark on TV again. You talk about dungeons and drugging people and Candy talking all down in her throat. And remember when she went in the bathroom? Andy went in the ladies' bathroom looking. She said, what did you think about that? Andy said, about what? He loved Portia. Andy didn't want to get rid of Portia then. We saw Portia beat a woman down with a scepter, and Carlos King picked her up like a princess and carried her out of there. If I was Kenya, I would have been laying there. I'm the one that just got beat. But Portia is back. She's undefeated for now, and Frack is with her. Thank you, CC. Replay gang. Hit the like button. Drop a comment. Let's hype this video up. Yes, I would appreciate it if you do that. I'm going to go through all of the comments. How do I go to Miss Best Reviews? I don't know. Can you drop a link, Miss Best? Kiwan J too. I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that, y'all. I'm working on my internet savviness, social media savviness. Those of you that have been here, you know that I've come a long way, baby, okay? If I can get it up while we're on the line, I will actually do that. Or if the two of these ladies could drop their link, I'll be happy for them to do that. Let me go through the rest of the comments. AB gave the episode a 9. Oh, that's great, AB. It's really good. I mean, it started out with a 7 for me. Cece gave it a 7. Started out with a 7 for me, but I had to give them another point because they're in Scotland. I love the fact that they're there. I love that. Yes, I miss Britt. Corlin, you miss Britt? I didn't care for Britt, but I think she would have really come into her own. She's going through a divorce from that unfortunate faced man. Can someone drop the link for Miss Bess and Kiwan J? Same, like Angela before this episode. I'm going to give her a little bit more grace. She was down bad. Please drop Mrs. Best link. I've been looking for other good reviewers. Yeah, there's 2 right here. Miss Cece, a 7. Oh, my God. Kiwan, you know Cece. She want to give him something to strive to be a little bit better. I'll drop the link for Kiwan J and myself. Okay, let me see this. Uh-oh, I hope it's not being held. Is Rhode Island that good? I was hesitant to watch it. Corlin, it is worth watching. I mean, it's still one episode. I mean, it's still, I don't know if it's being held. I'm sorry. It's still on season 1. We had this 2-part review. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. And Corlin, you know how the ladies get so fake? Are you wondering if they're faking or they're trying to be a certain way? And it's like, stop trying to maneuver and manipulate the audience. I hate that. These ladies on Rhode Island, They don't know anything about that. The stuff they will say and do and put out there, I'm glad that they're actually like that. So I do think it's well worth watching. I love it. All right, since we are still here, let me see. I think these comments are being held with the link. I don't know if I have put it where you can't drop a link in the chat. So I have to go back through and like try to go through and change it. All right, one moment. Let me go through. So I'm going to stay online just a little bit more because what I want to do is make sure I put these 2 links in here. And then Mrs. Best, I have noticed that you have like, and I appreciate you also referring me to people, but you have the links in your description box, which is really great. So that helps. So if I do that, then I won't have to like try to find it while we're here. Okay, one more moment. And let me see. I'll go back and read any other comments that we have left as well. All right, let's see. And I found that the TikTok, the Scottish guy, I thought he was adorable. I found the TikTok for him. All right, no luck. I think it held those comments. I apologize. What I will do after the show, what I'll end up doing is dropping it in the description box. So if you, Corey Lynn, if you would be so kind. Oh, you found it. Thank you. Okay, great. Great. Thank you. I heard Angela been acting a whole fool for a while. Key1 JTV, I hadn't noticed it because I'm always waiting for her reads. I find her really hilarious, but she looks a little desperate. Deborah Randall said Angela looked bad this episode. She did, Deborah Randall, and it just brings to mind the people that thought that she was instrumental in what happened at the end of last season at Kelly's event. Angela disappointed me. Mrs. Best Reviews, me too. The lie that she told, that wasn't fun. Shamea telling you your pants don't reach the top of your shoes, and you telling this woman, oh, I thought he paid you. That's why I said you and him are. And they told the wife, effing. And the wife's on the phone. Who said that George and she were effing? And then Angela on the spot said, I said it. And I saw Portia and Phaedra kind of hunch each other like with their elbow. Sam Scotland was a good choice with the Scottish influencer. I think so too. And the Traders tie-in, Carolyn, I loved it. I thought that was great. I need to add you in my description box, Miss Sandra. Thank you, Key1 JTV. We're all trying to encourage everyone. Y'all, we're trying to get some of this Google money. So when I see any of the young creators, when I see any body that you don't always see get the shine and get attention, because Bravo would send these ladies over to the usual suspects, the same one. And I feel like for especially Atlanta, we should be able to grow our channels on that and check in with each other on that, and then branch out to the other housewives too, because we all review and love Rhode Island. This is a really excellent first season. Exactly. I thought it would be fake like Kyle Richards. That's the fakest one over there. And they're going to drag her to season 20, just like they did OC. OC should be up out of here. But instead, we got Miami Paws and Ladies of London, both of which I watch and like. So I didn't appreciate that. I typed in their name and subscribe. Thank you, Coraline Williams. Great. Every survivor counts, and we love it. Isn't there a cease and desist? Shamea, supposedly Key1 J. They're saying, yeah, Shamea ate at this reunion. But Angela's doing all that talking. I kind of criticize Shamea for cease and desist. I don't think they should do that type stuff with each other. But now that I know what Angela has been out there saying and doubling down and getting even worse, I don't blame Shamea for the cease and desist. Now, Shamea, I saw you somewhere on social media talking about, oh, yeah, say the name, say the name. Why are you telling them say the name, say the name? Now, you don't put a cease and desist on this lady, so she can't say the name. But I'm looking forward to this reunion. Andy came out grinning from ear to ear. He said it was the most fun he had in a long time. So I'm looking forward to that. But here is a good stopping point, everybody. Thank you for anybody new that dropped down and joined us during the live. I appreciate that. And as always, I will see you in the YouTube streets. And let me see the last comment. She looked good to me when she was just acting ugly. Yeah, all of them are beautiful and act ugly, and everyone gets their turn. I try to give them a little bit of grace, but some of them just get down in the dirt and don't want to come back. Angela, please tell me that you'll come back and not be down in the dirt, because some of the stuff she was saying was not called for. Thank you so much, Corlin. Yes, Mrs. Best Reviews and also Kiwan JTV and myself, Sandra Peace Gen Extra, appreciate any and all subscribers. And when you leave comments, that helps our engagement too. And we answer back. So thank all of you for being here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Monday and have a great start to your week, everybody. Goodbye. Hearts to you as well. See you in the YouTube streets, everyone. Bye.
I don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion! Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you? That I don't think that he's good. That I